Standard mounting of SynergyOUT subframe. Fit the ties to the subframe with M8 hexagonal head screws. Place the subframe to the opening and mark the references of heights for the tie housings. Make the housings in the wall opening in the side according to the indicated measurements. Place the subframe in the wall opening at finished floor level. The subframe must always be installed taking into account the height of the finished floor, avoiding sinking it in the floor. Check the horizontal level and the plumb. The arrow indicates 1 meter in height. Measure and check for even diagonals. Measure and check for the two measures in height to be even. Check that the spacers are rotated into the correct position. Make sure that all the bolts clamping the spacers are tight. Brick in the subframe. If necessary, depending on the types of the wall the SynergyOUT door is inserted in, apply elastic polyurethane foam on the top side between the subframe and the wall. Remove the spacers only after the cement has hardened and reposition the bolts in the threaded plate to prevent for cement residue to damage the thread. Smooth off the plaster flush with the plastic item. Advice for a correct installation. After positioning the subframe and performing the plastering, lay the external-internal condensation barrier. Alternative SynergyOUT subframe installations. Elongated ties using ties and nuts supplied as extra make a housing into the wall, increasing the width to 220 mm, or with dowels and chemical anchoring not supplied by Dierre, it is not necessary to make a housing into the wall. Standard fitting operations for female hinge on SynergyOUT door. Hinges are supplied loose in the frame package. Before proceeding, make sure the hinges are of the correct opening direction. Opening direction, RH or LH, is stamped on the outer side of the hinges. Align the retaining pins A, pre-mounted on the hinge, to the 6.5 bores present on the subframe uprights. Drive hinge and pins on the frame using a rubber mallet. Tighten the 4 M6 hexagon head screws B supplied to each hinge. Repeat the same operations on the other hinges. It's important to lubricate the male hinge pin housing with lubricant, D-Flu preferably. Optional adjustments can be made on the female hinge. For these, please refer to the manual supplied. SynergyOUT frame fitting. Bring the upright and head of the frame together. The head must already include the two pre-installed mounting brackets. Insert the end part of the bracket until reaching the button coupling. If necessary, slightly unscrew the Allen screw using an Allen key. When the head and upright match perfectly, tighten the mounting bolt. Caution: do not force a tightening to prevent the button coupling from cornering off or getting damaged. Repeat the same operation with the other upright. Fitting the frame on the subframe of the SynergyOUT door. Advice for a correct fitting. Place a multi-purpose tape on the stock frame. After having assembled the uprights and the head of the frame, approach the subframe. Loosen the seal in correspondence with the hinges already fitted on the subframe to be able to move easily. Feed the cables from the slots provided for securing the frame contact. Insert the supplied bushings and secure them with the help of the M8 hexagon socket head screws, 4 per each upright, starting from the top. The frame should be fitted perfectly level. Connect the various cables to the frame card following the diagram within the instruction manual. For example, the power supply must be taken to contacts plus and minus, while the ground to pin M. The lower card feeds the lock while the top card feeds the fingerprint reader. Fix the cards to the frame with the provided screws. Fitting the SynergyOUT leaf. Mount the leaf and after having installed it, always check that the 4 external dowels and the grain of the female hinge are tightened. If necessary, adjust the hinge by working on the dowels in order to achieve the best opening-closing. When performing the adjustments, always foresee a lifting push system on the low point of the side opposite to the hinges of the door in order to avoid transferring the entire weight of the leaf on the adjustments dowels. Adjusting the inclination of the leaf. Work on the upper and on the lower dowels by loosening one and tightening the other with a 3 mm Allen key. Cross adjustments of the leaf. Work on the left and on the right dowels by loosening one and tightening the other with a 3 mm Allen key. Lateral translation movement of the leaf. After loosening the 4 external dowels, work on the central larger screw by using the 6 mm Allen key. After finding the correct position, tighten the dowels with the following order: upper, lower, seal side, opposite seal side. Height adjustment. First, remove the lower hinge cap. Completely unscrew the first threaded dowel with the appropriate Allen key and pull it out. Screw or unscrew the second dowel by working uniformly and smoothly on all the hinges, lower, upper, and possibly the central one, to avoid overloads and imbalances. Put load on all of them. Once the adjustment is complete, fit again the first threaded dowel. At the end of the operation, insert the hinge caps. Fitting the lower fixed threshold. The fixed lower threshold applied as a standard is necessary to maintain the declared performance values. When the door is fully adjusted, place the threshold, making sure to obtain full contact with the door when closed. Make sure that the frame seals and the threshold seals are perfectly tight. Fix the plastic part of the floor using bolts to secure the plastic caps to the end. Advice for a correct fitting. Between the threshold and floor, apply a sealant such as silicone or preferably butyl strip to avoid infiltration. Fit the aluminium cover in its housing. With the door open, adjust the mobile threshold by unscrewing the cap located in the lower part of the hinges side of the door. Fitting the accessories. Insert on the hinges the finishing hinge covers supplied in the accessory box. Remove the cover of the display and replace it with the finishing cover provided in the accessory box. Fit the finishing cover of the electronic plaques. Fitting of Dallas handling. All the necessary elements are within the accessory box. Fit the handle plaques on the under plaques already fixed on the paneling. Remove the Zama support from the lock. Fit the bracket to the cylinder using the M5/16 screw. Using the key, drive the cylinder in the proper direction inside of the lock. Fit the defender securing it to the lock using the spacer and supplied M6 screws. Tighten the screws and then test the correct operation of the system. Fit the under plaques of the plaques on the threaded holes of the defender and on the threaded pins of the inner retaining plate. Fit the plaques on the under plates. Drive the split spindle in the right direction in the handle housing. The handle is fitted with a self-locking system of the spindle. Insert the spindle handle unit in the lock by inserting the second handle on the opposite side. If you want to remove the spindle from the handle, it's necessary to insert the supplied key in the design housing, and the handle is pulled out by keeping the key turned. General starting and electronic configuration operations of the door. Starting. Connect the cables to the continuous current transformer. In order there are the 2 power inputs, the earth, the negative and positive outputs to take to the door, and the bolt to manage the output voltage. Adjust the contacts on the lock side of the leaf. The aim must be to make them touch with the door closed, with the related contact card on the frame. Using a multimeter, test for the voltage on the frame to be 12 volts approximately. Set the door ajar to check its correct operation. The door should close correctly and automatically. If not so, if the green LED flashes, it means that the latch does not exit fully and then the door needs to be adjusted. Make the necessary adjustments so that with the door ajar, the latch fully enters into its housing and that all the locking systems and all the locking items are correctly aligned. If the green LED is constantly on but the lock does not move, carry out the general reset, as we will soon see. To enter the menu, press the display for about 4 seconds. Show any key in case a door totally new, and show a master key in case there is at least one key registered on the door. When first setting up the door, it is a good rule to always perform a general reset from the display in order to properly synchronize a frame card, the display and the lock. Release the turns with a mechanical key, and after entering the menu, press Settings and then Codes Reset. The display will show codes cleared. The reset was thus successful. Open and close the door. If the operation is performed with the turns engaged, it will not be successful and the display will show failed. The transponder within the Easy Key is positioned in the area indicated. The key can be shown in both directions. The transponder on the key card is positioned on the entire surface of the card. The receiving antenna is located between the two LEDs, both on the internal and external plaque. LED explanation in case of correctly adjusted and working door. The lit red LED indicates that the door is brand new, no keys are registered. Under these conditions, any key can open the door. A flashing red LED indicates that the key that you are using is not registered. The door will not open. The flashing green LED indicates that the lock is moving the latches. The solid green LED indicates that the door is securely locked. The green LED off indicates that the door is unlocked. There are two types of keys, a master and a service one. The main difference between the two is that the first, in addition to open, can access a menu. The second can only unlock the door. Saving the keys. After entering the menu, press Key Manager, then Store. Show a non-registered key, define it as service or master, set the language of the key and attribute the name to it. Quick management of service keys. Service keys can be quickly managed by enabling and disabling them from the screen previous to the menu. The green LED indicates that they are enabled, while the red LED indicates that they are disabled. Advanced menu features are available, including managing display buttons, remote, internal, but for these, please refer to the supplied manual. Reader configuration without using a smartphone. Getting started. 4 admin fingers must be registered. Tap the sensor 3 times. Swipe the finger to be recorded on the sensor and wait for the confirmation given by the green LED. Repeat the operation for the other 2 times. When the LED turns blue, the first finger is registered. Repeat the operation for the other 3 administrative fingers. Admin fingers can also open the door. For the registration of user fingers, please refer to the manual. Reader configuration using a smartphone. Getting started. Firstly, synchronize a reader with your smartphone. Open the previously installed application and search for Bluetooth devices in the vicinity. Select the reference device. If the admin fingers were registered without using the smartphone, it's necessary to tap the sensor 3 times and swipe an admin finger. Type the default coupling password 9999 and reset a new password. To enter the application, type the default password 9999. Test the unlocking through the smartphone. To register a new finger, select the icon to add a user, attribute a name, select the finger to be registered, and assign the type of user or administrator. Tap OK, and assign the type of user or administrator. Tap OK and proceed by swiping the finger to be registered on the sensor. Wait for the confirmation given by the green LED. Repeat the operation another 2 times. When the LED turns blue, the finger has been registered. List of different types of opening, with mechanical key, with a display, with a transponder key, through remote button through which the non-powered contact present on the frame is managed, for example from an intercom or from a domotics controller, through the fingerprints reader, through a Bluetooth application. Emergency operation that can be performed by means of the lock switches. Remove the trim on the lock side to access the 4 switches under the lock contact. Reset the code to synchronize the various electronic cards. Move switches 1 and 4 in the on position and close the door. The display will show codes reset, followed by the codes cleared to confirm the correct outcome of the operation. Open the door and return switches 1 and 4 to the off position. Total cancellation of keys in the event of loss of master keys. Move switches 2 and 4 in the on position and close the door. A message will be displayed where you will need to enter code 1234, and after the confirmation reset performed will appear to confirm the correct outcome of the operation. Open the door and return switches 2 and 4 to off. Refit the trim.